Hey guys, what's up? Green Sam back with another video, and today we have another NBA 2K'24 roster update guide. Now, I figured since with the free agency period going on and a lot of big names going off the board finally after the first day of being very slow, I haven't put out a tweet basically saying as much, being like, wow, these teams must was scared of the tampering charges that have been levied over the last couple of years after, players have been literally signed minutes after the period passed. I mean, I guess it probably also helped that some of the the re-signing of players were able to happen right after the NBA Finals and during the draft even, instead of having to wait for them to re-sign once the free agency period hit as well. Now, of course, this roster is on PS5, so you will have to be on PS5. This is a 2K'24 roster. I do have a 2K'23 roster. I should have a video coming out about the same time as this one does, maybe an hour apart or so, just to give it time to breathe a little bit. But it'll be going over all the changes on that roster. It should be virtually the same. I know there's a couple things I need to fix on it. I think I gave Isaiah Hartenstein the wrong money because I accidentally typed out the wrong money on my document, on my Google Doc. And then I know there's a couple overalls that I need to change for players that I think happen in or around the NBA Finals. So there are a couple people that do need to get fixed. But other than that, not a whole ton needs to be fixed. I'm doing pretty good on it. The second round rookies are still coming on NBA 2K'23. I'm just waiting to see how teams are filled out, right? If a team goes out and fills their whole team with, veteran talent from 1 to 15, they're more than likely not going to keep that second round pick that they picked in this year's draft. So some of those guys won't be really worth putting in the game. Now, I'll probably get a lot of them put in and put them just on the G League team, kind of like I do with the 2K'24 roster. But let's get into things with the 2K'24 roster, and I'll go over a bunch of the free agent moves and stuff like that. Just in case you're somebody that doesn't really follow everything, then at least you can get a good eyes-on view of everybody. And of course, as jersey numbers are updated, as well as, of course, as more players are announced to sign with their teams or whatever, I will add those players, of course. I don't think anybody else has signed. I think the last person should be Chris Dunn still for my roster. Anyway, that's going to be the last guy for the night. I'm actually going to have to probably get off after this and head out to work. But first and foremost, you guys will want to head to the roster creator, head to user created. So NBA Modern, user created. And once you get to this screen, you can push triangle on your controller. Go to... Nope, don't search by content name. I don't know why I was going to search by content name. Go to Green Machine Sam. Go ahead and type it out. Green Machine Sam. Jesus, why am I struggling typing right now? Green Machine Sam. Boom, hit the options button, the start button on your controller, and it should bring up my 3 rosters. The NBA 2K'24 no injury roster is a roster you do not want. It is not up to date. Go ahead and download one of the other 3. You have 2K'24 draft and free agency, NBA 2K'24 roster update, and NBA offseason. All 3 of them are the same. None of them have any differences whatsoever, so you can go ahead and download whichever one you want. Now, I am picking jersey numbers based off of what other people have worn in the past, as well as what I think they will wear, as well as a lot of what people are photoshopping them in. So Paul George is wearing the number 8. Tyrese Maxey finally back on the 76ers. He was actually waiting for the 76ers to go out and get some free agents like Oubre, Drummond, Gordon, and George before signing, so that his team would have a little bit more money. I've always thought that was kind of like an illegal move. I didn't think you were allowed to purposely not re-sign somebody and then purposely re-sign them after you've spent your money because you have bird rights. I don't know. I thought that was illegal. I thought that was something the Timberwolves did in the past, but I could be wrong there. DeLon Wright going to the Bucks. Not a huge move, but still something worth noting. Jalen Smith going to the Bulls, of course, getting 3 years, $25 million, just over 8 a year. And then, of course, one thing I do want to state is I'm doing my best in terms of getting these contracts correct. Now, some of these contracts might be front-loaded. Some of these contracts might be back-loaded. Some of these contracts might be lopsided. Who knows? Maybe Jalen Smith in 2 of the 3 years gets $13 million, so, 6.5 a year. And then in the last year, he gets 12 or something. So, there's all types of different ways these contracts can shake out. Quetta, Cornette, and, of course, Derek White and Jason Tatum all signing new contracts with the Boston Celtics. So all those guys getting paid. Kevin Porter's back in the NBA, going to the Los Angeles Clippers. I did drop his overall for now, just because he hasn't played in the NBA for so long. So I did drop him from a 78 to a 74. I didn't think keeping him up at a 78 as of right now would be a smart move. Chris Dunn going to the Clippers. His money hasn't been announced yet. Derrick Jones, 3 years, $30 million. And of course, one that I did miss. Where is he at? Nicholas Batum. He got 2 for 9.6. So I gave him 4.5 or 4.8 a year. I don't think the Grizzlies, the Hawks signed anybody. The Heat didn't sign anybody of interest really besides Zion, Paul, Drew Smith, two ways, and of course Kevin Love back on a $8 million deal over 2 years. Josh Green did get traded to the Hornets. 2 second-round picks are getting sent to Golden State for Klay Thompson. So Josh Green heading from the Mavs to the Hornets. I think the Hornets are giving up the picks or something of that nature. Just a trade, a sign and trade that would make it more easier on the teams. Drew Eubanks going to the Jazz. I think it was 2 for 10 if I remember correctly. I should just be looking at my list. I literally have pulled up on my PC, but still, I was trying to say computer, but then wanted to say CC or QC. I'm so fucking weird. Like I said, all the first round picks should be on their designated teams, and then of course the second round picks are on the G League teams. So go ahead and check those out. If you guys want to move the second round picks back to the regular teams, go ahead and do that, as well as all the first round and second round picks. Overalls are based upon when they are picked and not how I feel about the player, mainly because I feel like that's the most unbiased and fair way of doing things. So that is a way that I am doing it. LeBron still hasn't technically re-signed with the Lakers yet, so he will be pushed back off for now. Of course, I did get all the re-signs done. So OG Anunoby got his like $30 or so million, $40 or so million that he was getting per year. So he has his. Of course, the Magic re-signed 2 people in Badate and Harris, and then of course bringing Caldwell Pope. There are their 3 big signings so far. The Mavericks getting Marshall, Grimes, and of course Klay Thompson. 3 big name players that can all kind of stretch the floor, provide decent defense as well. Some big names for the Mavericks. The Nets and the Nuggets, I don't think have re-signed anybody. Actually, the Nuggets have re-signed somebody, and he is not here for some reason. DeAndre Jordan is supposed to be here. So that is something I need to fix. DeAndre Jordan is supposed to be on the Nuggets. He's supposed to be getting 3.6. Of course, Obi Toppin going back to the Pacers. The Pelicans, I don't remember if anybody really happened. Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Alvarado's contracts got picked up. Other than that, nothing else. Tobias Harris going to the Pistons, of course. Ron Holland get here, as well as Tim Hardaway. Now, Sasha Venzikov was traded from the Kings to the Raptors. He is actually going to stay in the NBA. He is not going to be leaving the NBA. There was a rumor that he was going to head back overseas. Garrett Temple re-signing with the Raptors for the gazillionth year, it feels like. Aaron Holiday back to the Rockets, of course. Chris Paul to the Spurs. Suns get Colin Gillespie on a 2-year deal. 2-way deal. Bol coming back. Royce O'Neal coming back. And then Mason Plumlee all coming back. All some decent names. Isaiah Hartenstein getting 3 years, $87 million. Yeah, I have it listed as 3 years, 67. So on 2K'23, it's going to be incorrect. He's going to be at $22 million a year for 2 years, and then 23 for the last, I think it was. And then, of course, Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe going back to the Thunder as well on relatively cheap contracts. They're getting paid because they don't have to pay a lot of their guys like Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso is still on a relatively cheap deal. I think Lou Dort is on a relatively cheap deal as well. So they were able to pay these 2 guys and keep them around for a very long time. I would assume those contracts in real life are going to be front-loaded, but I could be wrong. Luka Garza going back to the Timberwolves to be that 4th center. And then, of course, you do have one player on the Trailblazers, Justin Naya, getting on a 2-way deal. And then, of course, one of the last players in the entire free agency right now, DeAnthony Melton, going to the Golden State Warriors, adding some more guard depth for them. And that's basically it as of right now. Now, of course, there could be other signings, of course. Remember, I'm making this video at 9:30 because I got to go to work at 11. So I'll probably get it uploaded to YouTube by 6 or so a.m. And then hopefully it'll be pushed out by 8 or 9. So you have to remember, anything in between basically 10 p.m. tonight and probably 9 a.m. tomorrow isn't going to be on the roster if you're doing anything after that. Granted, I'll try to get as much stuff as humanly done when I get home from work, but I could be very tired and want to go to sleep and stuff like that. But still, a lot of player movement, a lot of stuff happening. Of course, like I said, if jersey numbers do get updated or if players do pick out their jersey numbers relatively fast, I'll try to fix them as soon as they come through. But of course, some players aren't going to pick jersey numbers right away, or some just, whatever. They're going to buy out a contract jersey. Like I said, I do need to fix DeAndre Jordan not being on the Nuggets. That is one player that I skipped over apparently, so he will have to go to the Nuggets. Like I said, if I'm missing anybody on certain teams, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this again. Second round picks are on the G League teams, okay? And their overalls are based upon when they are picked. So the later they were picked, the lower their overalls are going to be. So like Bronny James is a 67. Anybody that's supposed to be undrafted is a 66. 71s like Kyle Filipowski, who is on the Jazz, he's going to be like a 71. Okay, so there's going to be all these different things. The second round picks are on the G League teams. I think once free agency does kind of wrap up, I'll probably go in here and sort by age and find some of these players like Dominic Barlow, Amani Bates, some of these guys that maybe if they don't make a roster, I'll drop their overall a little bit, but I'll probably move them over to a G League team just to make it a little bit more fun, especially if you do use the G League when you start up your My Eras. I personally sometimes don't. It sometimes just fucks with developments for some reason. I know in 2K'23, development on G League teams was really fast, and if you sent a player down to the G League, he could be like a 74 by the end of the year. It was very strange. So if you want to play with the G League team, that's fine. I'm probably going to do something with that, hopefully in the future. But for now, that should just about cover most of the teams getting a lot of their free agency periods, especially the bigger name guys going through right away. Of course, you can come over here and look at the free agents still. LeBron's already reported that he's going to re-sign with the Lakers. He's just waiting for the Lakers to make a move on somebody like a DeRozan, like a Zach LaVine, or something of that nature. I think that's going to be somebody that they're going to go after. And then once they get some of their free agents, they have a mid-level exception, as well as they have a couple other pieces here and there that they can move. Then he'll re-sign. I know DeRozan is still looking for a home. I know some of these guys are going to be on cheaper deals. Some of these guys that maybe just, and then some of these guys might just phase out of the NBA. That happens all the time. Free agents just phase out of the NBA, whether it's because they don't fit well with personnel, or the game's evolving past them, or they're just getting older or becoming a step slower, or whatever the case may be. Some of these players might just phase out of the league. It is what it is. It happens every year with some notable veterans. Don't be surprised by that. But like I said, I'll keep this roster up to date, and just because I don't upload a video doesn't mean it's not getting updated. It just means I haven't had the time to make a video. So go make sure to check out the roster. I post more of my updates on Twitter. I'm going to try to start posting more of the updates on my YouTube page as well, so that you guys can be notified anytime I do post a update, so you guys can go get those immediately. With that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video or any of the videos on my channel, I would appreciate if you guys do stick around and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos like this. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.